Welcome back to Yoga for L by the Yoga Funk. I'm your host, Jake. And
And I'm Hannah.
last week we took a little journey through the history and some basic principles of yoga.
Yeah, it was a great overview, right? Yeah, it was really fun.
And I'm really thrilled that we're diving into the vast and vibrant world of yoga styles today.
Yeah, me too. There's so many styles to discover. It's exciting.
I know. Even after our last dive, I felt a little overwhelmed by all the choices. Where do we even begin to navigate this world of hatha and vinyasa and yin and what felt like 100 other styles?
Yeah, it's definitely a lot to take in, but I think instead of feeling overwhelmed, we can look at it as like a treasure trove of possibilities. Think of it like choosing a genre of music. Like you might love the energy of rock, or the peacefulness of classical, or the groove of jazz. And yoga styles offer a similar range. They cater to different needs and preferences.
Okay, I like that analogy. Yeah. So, how do we start narrowing down the choices? Should we think about our experience level first?
Yeah, that's a great starting point if you're brand new to yoga. Certain styles are known for being particularly beginner friendly. Like hatha, for instance, is often considered the foundation of modern yoga.
Yeah, hatha was mentioned a few times last week. What makes it such a good starting point?
Well, hatha emphasizes the fundamentals, like holding poses, connecting with your breath, and cultivating body awareness. It introduces you to the core principles without overwhelming you with complex sequences or rapid transitions.
So, it's like building a solid base before you start experimenting with the fancier moves.
Exactly. And speaking of moving, if you're looking for a style that's a bit more dynamic and fluid, vinyasa might be your jam.
Oh, yeah, vinyasa is the one that's all about flow. Right. I've seen some pretty cool videos of people seamlessly moving from one pose to the next.
Yeah, it's definitely captivating to watch and even more exhilarating to practice. Vinyasa links poses together in a continuous sequence, guided by your breath. And each class can be quite different depending on the teacher and the specific flow they've designed.
So, it's like choreographed movement, but you're also paying close attention to your breath.
Precisely.
Yeah,
The breath becomes the anchor, guiding you through the transitions and helping you stay present in the moment. Some people describe vinyasa as a moving meditation.
that sounds pretty cool. I can see how both hatha and vinyasa would appeal to beginners, each offering a different flavor of the practice.
Yeah, and the beauty is you don't have to choose just one. You can explore both and see which one resonates more with you, or you can even alternate between the two, incorporate both hatha and vinyasa into your weekly routine.
So, mixing and matching is totally allowed.
Absolutely. The key is to find what feels good for your body and supports your goals. Speaking of goals, sometimes people come to yoga seeking a specific outcome. Maybe they want to increase flexibility, build strength, or find a practice that's deeply calming and restorative.
Now, that makes a lot of sense. If someone's looking for a deep stretch and relaxation, what would you recommend?
If deep stretching and a sense of surrender are calling to you, then yin yoga might be the perfect fit.
Okay, yin yoga. I've heard the name, but I'm not quite sure what it's all about. Is it similar to hatha?
Well, while both emphasize stillness and holding poses, yin is a much slower and more passive practice. Imagine holding poses for 3 to 5 minutes, sometimes even longer. It's all about letting go of effort and allowing gravity to do the work.
Whoa, holding poses for that long? What's the benefit of that?
Well, yin targets the deep connective tissues, like ligaments, fascia, and even the joints themselves. And these tissues respond best to gentle, sustained stretches, which is why we hold the poses for extended periods.
So it's like a deep tissue massage from the inside out.
That's a great way to put it. And while it might not feel super intense in the moment, you often feel an incredible sense of release and spaciousness afterward.
I can imagine that it's almost like giving those deep hidden tissues permission to finally let go.
And speaking of letting go, wasn't there a style we talked about last week that's specifically designed for relaxation? You're thinking of restorative yoga, which is like a deeply nurturing embrace for your nervous system. If you're feeling stressed, anxious, or simply need to unwind, restorative is a beautiful practice to explore.
Okay, so tell me more about this restorative yoga. What does a typical class look like?
Imagine this. You're surrounded by soft blankets, bolsters, and blocks, creating a cozy and supportive environment. You gently ease into poses, often supported by props, and hold them for 5 to 10 minutes at a time.
It sounds like a luxurious nap time for adults.
It kind of is. But beyond the physical relaxation, restorative yoga has a profound impact on your mental and emotional state. It helps to soothe the nervous system, reduce stress hormones, and cultivate a sense of deep peace and tranquility.
You know, we talked about beginner-friendly styles and styles that are great for relaxation. But what about someone who's looking for a challenge? Is there a yoga style that's more like a workout?
Yeah, if you're seeking a physically demanding practice that will build strength, stamina, and flexibility, Ashtanga yoga might be right up your alley. It's known for its rigorous set sequence of poses that is always performed in the same order.
It's like having a built-in workout routine that you can rely on.
Exactly. And because the sequence is always the same, you can track your progress and notice subtle improvements in your strength and flexibility over time.
Okay, Ashtanga sounds intense. But what if I'm looking for something challenging but maybe a little less structured?
Well, then we have to talk about power yoga, which has gained immense popularity in recent years. It's a dynamic and vigorous style that draws inspiration from Ashtanga but allows for more variations and creativity in the sequencing.
So it's like Ashtanga's more free-spirited cousin.
And that's a great way to put it. Power yoga classes often incorporate a mix of strength-building poses, flowing sequences, and core work, all designed to challenge you physically and leave you feeling energized.
And I bet the music is pretty good too, right?
You got it. Power yoga classes often have a playlist to match the high-energy vibe. But even with the intensity, there's still an emphasis on mindfulness and connecting with your breath.
So like a workout for your body and mind.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And there's another style that blends physical challenge with the deep spiritual element, and that's Bikram yoga. It's probably best known for being practiced in a heated room.
Oh yeah, Bikram is the hot yoga, right? I've heard it can get pretty intense.
It definitely can. Bikram consists of a specific series of 26 poses and 2 breathing exercises, all performed in a room heated to around 105 degrees Fahrenheit with 40% humidity.
Wow, I'm sweating just thinking about it. What's the reasoning behind the heat?
Well, the heat is intended to help you warm up the muscles quickly, allowing for a deeper stretch. It's also thought to promote detoxification through sweating.
So it's like a sauna and a yoga class all in one?
You could say that, but it's definitely not for everyone. It's important to stay hydrated and listen to your body carefully if you're trying Bikram for the first time.
I can imagine. And before we move on to our last style for this section, I just wanted to take a moment to acknowledge that we've covered a lot of ground already. It's amazing to see how much variety there is within the world of yoga.
It truly is. And each style we've explored offers a unique pathway to connect with your body, mind, and breath. But we still have one more fascinating style to explore before we dive into helping you choose the right one for you.
You're right, we can't forget about Kundalini Yoga, which I'm particularly curious about because I know so little about it.
Kundalini is definitely unique and often described as the yoga of awareness. It combines physical postures, breath work, chanting, and meditation to awaken a specific energy within the body.
Okay, I'm intrigued, but I need a little more explanation. What exactly is this energy they're trying to awaken?
So, in Kundalini Yoga, it's believed that we have a potent energy, often symbolized as a coiled serpent located at the base of the spine. And Kundalini practices are designed to awaken and channel this energy upward through the body's energy centers or chakras.
That sounds pretty powerful. What does it feel like to actually awaken this Kundalini energy?
Well, experiences can vary widely, but some people report feeling a surge of energy, heightened awareness, emotional releases, or even spiritual insights.
So it's not just a physical practice. It sounds like Kundalini has a strong spiritual component as well.
Absolutely. Kundalini Yoga blends the physical with the mental and spiritual in a unique and transformative way. It's not uncommon to find chanting, mantra, and meditation woven into a Kundalini class.
I can see how that would appeal to someone who's seeking a more holistic approach to yoga. It's like yoga meets energy, work and spirituality all rolled into one.
You got it. And just like any other yoga style, it's important to approach Kundalini with an open mind and a sense of curiosity. It might not be for everyone, but for those who resonate with it, it can be a profoundly transformative practice.
Well, I have to say, after exploring all these styles, I'm feeling a little less overwhelmed, a lot more excited about the possibilities. But I imagine some of our listeners might still be feeling a little lost, like, okay, where do I even begin?
That's totally understandable. We've covered a lot of ground, and it's easy to feel a bit like a kid in a candy store, not knowing which treat to choose first.
Exactly. So where do we go from here? What are some key things to consider when choosing a yoga style?
Well, we've already touched on a few important experience level, desired intensity, and whether you're drawn to a more physical or spiritual focus. But there are a few other things to keep in mind as well.
Like what? Give us the insider tips.
First, consider your overall goals. What are you hoping to achieve through your yoga practice? Are you primarily seeking stress relief? Do you want to improve your flexibility or strength? Or are you looking for a deeper spiritual connection?
I love that you're bringing it back to intention. It's like setting your internal compass before embarking on a journey.
Exactly. Having a clear sense of your goals will help you narrow down the options and choose a style that aligns with your aspirations.
So, if someone's main goal is stress reduction, what would you recommend?
Styles like Hatha, restorative, and Yin are all excellent for calming the nervous system and reducing stress. They emphasize slow, gentle movements, deep breathing, and holding poses for extended periods, which can help to melt away tension and promote a sense of relaxation.
Okay, and what about someone who's more interested in building strength and stamina?
In that case, I'd recommend exploring Vinyasa, Ashtanga, or Power Yoga. These styles incorporate more dynamic movements, flowing sequences, and core work, which can challenge you physically and build muscular strength and endurance.
Okay, that makes sense. But what about the people who are drawn to the spiritual aspect of yoga? What styles would you suggest they explore?
Kundalini Yoga is an excellent choice for those seeking a spiritual practice. But other styles like Hatha and Vinyasa can also be practiced with a spiritual intention. It's all about how you approach the practice and what you bring to the mat.
So even in a physically demanding class, you can still cultivate a sense of inner peace and connection?
Absolutely. Ultimately, yoga is a path to self-discovery. It's about connecting with your body, mind, and breath, and ultimately with something deeper within yourself.
I love that. And I think it's important to remember that there's no right or wrong way to do yoga. It's all about finding what works for you and honoring your own unique journey.
I couldn't agree more, and sometimes the best way to discover your perfect style is to simply experiment. Try different classes, explore different teachers, and see what resonates with you.
Yeah, that's great advice, like a taste test for your soul. You might be surprised at what flavors you end up loving.
And don't be afraid to step outside your comfort zone. Sometimes the styles that initially intimidate us end up being the most transformative.
So true, you never know until you try, and even if a particular style doesn't click for you, it's still a valuable experience because it helps you refine your preferences and deepen your understanding of your own body.
Exactly. It's all part of the journey. And remember, your yoga practice can evolve over time. What feels right for you today might be different from what feels right a year from now.
That's a great point. Our bodies change, our needs change, and our preferences can change too. So it's important to stay open and allow your practice to evolve along with you.
And sometimes you might find that blending different styles works best for you. Maybe you love the invigorating flow of vinyasa, but also crave the deep relaxation of restorative yoga.
So you can create your own custom yoga blend.
Absolutely. For example, you could incorporate vinyasa into your routine a few times a week for strength and flexibility. Then add a restorative class on the weekends for deep relaxation. Or you could combine hatha with yin for a well-rounded practice that balances strength and flexibility with deep stretching and mindfulness.
I love that idea. It's like creating your own personal yoga playlist, choosing the tracks that feel good for your body and soul.
Exactly. And just like a playlist, you can adjust it as needed, adding or removing styles as your preferences and needs shift.
You know, thinking about all these different styles, it strikes me that yoga is so much more than just physical postures. It's a holistic practice that encompasses the body, mind, and spirit.
Beautifully said. And that's what makes it so powerful. Whether you're sweating it out in a Bikram class or finding stillness in a restorative pose, you're cultivating a deeper connection with yourself and with the world around you.
It's like yoga helps us tune into all the different frequencies within ourselves.
I love that analogy. And the more we practice, the more we refine our ability to tune in and harmonize those frequencies, leading to greater self-awareness, balance, and overall well-being.
You know, we've talked a lot about choosing the right style, but I'm wondering, are there any practical tips you can share for actually getting started?
Of course. First and foremost, do your research. Check out different studios in your area or explore online platforms, read reviews, watch introductory videos, and see if any teachers or studios resonate with you.
So it's like finding a good therapist or hairdresser. You want to make sure there's a good fit.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to ask. Questions? Reach out to the studio or teacher and ask about their teaching style, the level of the class, and what to expect.
That's great advice. And what about once you've chosen a class? Any tips for first-timers?
Arrive a few minutes early to introduce yourself to the teacher and let them know you're new to yoga. That way they can offer extra guidance and modifications as needed.
Yeah, I think that would help ease some of the nerves, especially if you're feeling a little intimidated.
And remember, it's perfectly okay to modify poses or take breaks when needed. Listen to your body and honor your own limits.
And what about equipment? Do you need any special gear for your first class?
Most studios provide mats and props, but you can always bring your own if you prefer. Wear comfortable clothing that allows you to move freely and avoid eating a heavy meal right before class.
Okay, that all sounds doable, but what about the mental aspect? Any advice for cultivating the right mindset? Ding.
Approach your practice with an open mind and a playful attitude. Don't be too hard on yourself if you can't do all the poses perfectly. Yoga is a journey, not a destination. And every practice is an opportunity to learn and grow.
I love that it's a reminder to focus on the process, not just the outcome. And speaking of process, isn't there a specific word in yoga for the end of class?
Yes, thinking of Savasana, which translates to corpse pose. It's the final resting pose, typically done lying on your back with your arms and legs relaxed.
It sounds morbid, but I bet it feels amazing after a yoga class.
It's pure bliss. Savasana is a time to integrate the benefits of your practice, allowing your body and mind to fully absorb the experience. It's a chance to let go of all effort and simply be present in.
The moment you know. Hearing you describe Savasana makes me realize how much I've learned. In just this one episode, I feel like I've gained a much deeper understanding of the different yoga styles and how to choose the right one for me.
I'm so glad to hear that. And remember, this is just the beginning of your yoga journey. There's so much more to discover and explore.
You're right, and I'm feeling inspired to get out there and try some new classes. But before we wrap up, is there anything else you'd like to share with our listeners about finding their perfect yoga fit?
Yeah, just trust your intuition. As you explore different styles, pay attention to how you feel before, during, and after class. Notice which styles leave you feeling energized or grounded or simply at peace.
That's such a valuable reminder. Sometimes we get so caught up in our heads trying to figure out the right choice that we forget to tune into our body's wisdom.
Exactly. Your body will tell you what it needs. And remember, it's okay to change your mind, try something new, or even take a break from yoga altogether, if that's what feels best.
That's so reassuring to hear. It takes the pressure off, allowing us to approach yoga with a sense of curiosity and self-compassion.
And ultimately, that's what yoga is all about. Cultivating a deeper connection with ourselves, honoring our unique needs, and finding practices that support our overall well-being.
I couldn't have said it better myself, Hannah. This deep dive has been incredibly insightful. I feel like I've gained a whole new perspective on the world of yoga.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that, Jake. It's been a joy exploring these styles with you. And remember, this is just the beginning of your yoga journey.
You're right. There's so much more to discover, and I'm excited to continue exploring. But for now, I think it's time to embrace a little Shavasana, both literally and figuratively.
I love that idea. Let's all take a moment to integrate everything we've learned, allowing these insights to settle deep within our hearts and minds.
Thank you so much for joining us on Yoga for All by the Yoga Funk. We'll be back next week with another deep dive into the world of wellness. Until then, keep exploring, keep practicing, and keep listening to your inner wisdom. Namaste, namaste.